Into the depths. Captain Marcus Sterling pressed his shoulder against the cold metal wall, his enhanced combat suit sensors picking up movement 3 levels above. The distant echoes of plasma fire and mechanical whirring told him the hunter-seekers were still searching. His grip tightened on the quantum data core in his chest pocket, information that could save billions of lives if he could just get it to Alliance Command. The abandoned mining facility on Proxima 7 hadn't been his first choice for a hiding spot, but when your ship gets shot down by corporate mercenaries, you make do with what you've got. The facility's lower levels plunged deep into the planet's crust, a maze of tunnels and abandoned machinery that predated human colonization. "Location secure, Captain Sterling," whispered Aurora, his suit's AI. "But enemy units are employing new search patterns. They're learning." Marcus allowed himself a grim smile. "They always do, old friend. How's that wound? The nanometafoam has sealed the plasma burn on your left side, but cellular regeneration is at 47%. You require proper medical attention within 12 hours. He pushed off from the wall, moving deeper into the facility's bowels. The emergency lighting cast everything in a pale blue glow, creating shadows that danced like spectral figures. His boots, designed for stealth operations, made no sound on the metal grating. "What do we know about this place, Aurora?" "Limited data available. Facility designated Deep Reach Mining Station 7. Abandoned during the corporate wars of 2184. Original survey data suggests unusual anomalies." Marcus paused at a junction, his enhanced senses alert for any threat. "Define unusual." "Energy signatures inconsistent with known technology. Archaeological findings that were quickly classified. And..." Aurora hesitated, something she rarely did. "Reports of missing personnel who claimed to hear singing in the deep tunnels." A crash from above made Marcus flatten himself against a wall. Through his suit's advanced sensors, he could make out the heavy footfalls of hunterbots, their quantum processors trying to predict his movement patterns. "They're getting closer," he muttered, checking his weapon's charge. The prototype pulse rifle had enough juice for maybe 2 more firefights, and then he'd be down to his sidearm. That's when he saw it, a faint shimmer in the air at the end of the corridor. Most would have missed it, but his augmented vision caught the subtle distortion of light, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. "Aurora, analysis? Unknown energy signature. Similar to quantum displacement fields but different. Organic components detected. Captain, I strongly advise dash." The wall beside him exploded inward as a hunterbot's breach charge detonated. Marcus rolled, coming up firing. His pulse rifle caught the first machine in its sensor cluster, sending it crashing backward. 2 more appeared in the breach, their weapon arms deploying with mechanical precision. "Time to go," Marcus said, sprinting toward the shimmer. Plasma bolts sizzled past him, leaving scorch marks on the ancient walls. The shimmer grew stronger as he approached, resolving into what looked like a doorway made of light. The hunterbots were closing in, their heavy footfalls echoing through the corridor. "Captain, the energy readings are off the scale. This could be dash." "No choice, Aurora. Sometimes you have to leap without looking." Marcus dove through the shimmer. For a moment, his world turned inside out, every atom of his being seeming to sing in harmony with some vast, cosmic force. Then he was falling, tumbling through space that seemed to bend and twist around him. He landed hard on what felt like polished stone. As his vision cleared, he found himself in a vast chamber that defied explanation. Crystalline structures rose like frozen waterfalls, pulsing with inner light. The air itself seemed alive with tiny motes of luminescence. "Aurora," he whispered, but his suit's AI remained silent. Whatever this place was, it was interfering with his technology. That's when he heard it, a sound that made his combat-hardened heart skip a beat. Singing, just like the missing miners had reported. But this was no simple melody. It was a symphony of impossible notes, a harmony that seemed to reach into his very soul. "Welcome, warrior of Earth," said a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "We have been waiting a very long time for someone like you." Marcus turned slowly, his rifle raised, and found himself facing something that would change his understanding of the universe forever. The Crystal Sanctuary. 3 figures emerged from the crystalline formations, their movements flowing like liquid starlight. Marcus's combat training warred with his instincts, everything about them radiated power, but not hostility. They were unmistakably feminine in form, but clearly not human. Their skin had a translucent quality that shifted between deep azure and violet, seeming to pulse with internal light. Long, flowing hair that looked like strands of living crystal framed faces of ethereal beauty. But it was their eyes that held Marcus transfixed, swirling pools of golden light that contained centuries of wisdom and knowledge. "Lower your weapon, Marcus Sterling," said the tallest of the 3, her voice carrying that same musical quality he'd heard before. "We are the Luminari, and this sanctuary has stood empty, waiting for one such as you." Marcus kept his rifle at ready position, but his finger eased off the trigger. "You know my name. You know what I'm carrying." It wasn't a question. The second sister moved forward, her movements graceful as dancing light. "We know many things, soldier of Earth. I am Lyris. My sisters are Naira," she gestured to the tall one who'd spoken first, and Thena, indicating the third, who watched him with intense curiosity. "The data core you carry," Thena said, her voice lighter but no less mesmerizing, "contains proof of Project Eclipse. A weapon that would reshape the very fabric of life itself." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. The classified files he'd stolen from Helix Corporation had been encrypted beyond even Aurora's ability to decode. "How could you possibly dash?" "We are the ones who created the original technology," Naira interrupted, her golden eyes flashing. "Eons ago, before your kind had mastered fire, we developed what you would call genetic engineering. But we saw the destructive potential and sealed it away." The chamber seemed to pulse in response to her words, the crystalline structures emitting subtle harmonics that made Marcus's bones vibrate. He realized his suit's systems were coming back online, but differently, as if they were interfacing with the very fabric of this place. "Captain," Aurora's voice whispered in his ear, "I'm detecting quantum signatures unlike anything in our database. These beings, they're not just advanced. They're practically crystallized evolution." Lyris laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a summer breeze. "Your artificial friend understands more than she knows. We are what your scientists might call living quantum computers, though that barely scratches the surface of what we are." "Helix Corporation," Marcus said, finally lowering his rifle completely, "they found some of your old research sites. That's how they developed Project Eclipse." "Fragments," Thena corrected, moving closer. Her proximity made the air itself seem to sparkle. "Dangerous fragments they've twisted into something monstrous. The weapon they're creating wouldn't just target specific genetic markers, it would unravel the very foundations of life itself." Marcus's mind raced with the implications. The files he carried suggested Project Eclipse was meant to be a precision weapon, targeting only specific alien species. But if what the Luminari said was true? "Show him," Naira commanded, and the chamber transformed. The crystalline walls became transparent, revealing vast spaces beyond, ancient laboratories, storage facilities, and something that made Marcus's breath catch, a massive chamber filled with what looked like sleeping forms of dozens of different species, all preserved in crystalline stasis. "When we saw the darkness in the younger races," Lyris explained, "we didn't just hide our technology. We became guardians, preserving samples of all sentient life. Insurance against the day when someone might unleash a power they couldn't understand." "The corporation's hunting you," Thena added, "they don't just want to stop you from exposing their weapon. They want the data core because it contains fragments of our genetic keys, keys that could unlock all of this." Marcus touched the core through his armor. Then why not destroy it? Why preserve something so dangerous? Naira's expression softened, and for a moment, she looked almost human in her sadness. Because, Marcus Sterling, sometimes the only way to fight darkness is with light. The same keys that could unlock destruction could also open doors to healing beyond anything your people have imagined. We brought you here, Lyris said, because we saw something in you. A warrior's strength, yes, but also a heart that beats with compassion. The choice of what happens next must be made by both our peoples. The chamber hummed with increasing energy, and Marcus noticed the crystals pulsing in sync with his heartbeat. The Luminari sisters moved in perfect synchronization, forming a triangle around him. Your pursuit has not ended, Thena warned. Even now, they recalibrate their machines to detect the quantum wake of our sanctuary. You must choose quickly, run with your data and hope you reach your command in time, or stay and learn the true power of what you carry. Marcus looked at each sister in turn, seeing not just beauty and power, but the weight of responsibility they carried. Guardians of life itself, waiting through millennia for the right moment, the right person. If I stay, he said carefully, what exactly are we talking about? Naira's smile was both beautiful and terrible in its intensity. We're talking about rewriting the future, Captain Sterling. Your human adaptability combined with our ancient knowledge. Together, we might do what neither of us could do alone, stop Project Eclipse and show the galaxy a better path. The distant sound of machinery penetrated even the sanctuary's walls. The Hunterbots were getting closer, their quantum sensors adapting, evolving. Time grows short, Lyris warned. What is your answer, warrior of Earth? Marcus Sterling, Special Forces captain and now possibly the most wanted man in the galaxy, looked at the data core that had cost so many lives. Then he looked at these ancient, powerful beings who offered something beyond mere survival. His decision would change everything. Convergence of fates. Teach me, Marcus said, and the chamber erupted with crystalline resonance. The Luminari sisters moved with liquid grace, their forms leaving trails of light as they circled him. The data core in his chest pocket began to pulse in harmony with the chamber's energies. First, Naira said, her golden eyes intense, you must understand what you truly carry. Her slender fingers touched the pocket containing the core, and Marcus felt a surge of energy course through his suit. The chamber's walls transformed into holographic displays, showing strands of DNA that twisted and morphed in impossible ways. Project Eclipse isn't just a weapon, Lyris explained, her voice tight with concern. It's a key to something far worse. These patterns, Aurora chimed in, her AI voice filled with awe, they're not just genetic codes. They're quantum signatures? Thena nodded, her crystalline hair shimmering. Your AI understands. Living beings aren't just physical constructs, they're quantum patterns written into the fabric of reality itself. Project Eclipse wouldn't just kill its targets, it would erase them from existence entirely. Suddenly, alarms pulsed through the sanctuary. The crystalline walls flickered with red warning lights. They've breached the outer barriers, Lyris announced, her hands dancing over floating control panels made of light. Impossible, Naira muttered. Unless. Her golden eyes widened. They're using him to track us. Your neural implants, Captain. Marcus felt a chill. Standard Special Forces enhancement, designed to connect him to his suit and AI. But if Helix Corporation had planned for this. Aurora, full shutdown, now. Captain, that would leave you dash. Do it. His world went dark as his enhanced senses cut out. The neural web that had been part of him for years fell silent. When his natural vision returned, he saw the sisters watching him with newfound respect. A warrior's sacrifice, Thena said softly. But it may have come too late. The sanctuary shook as something massive impacted the outer chambers. Through the crystalline walls, Marcus could see distorted shapes moving, Hunterbots, but different. They seem to shimmer with an energy signature similar to the sanctuary itself. They've adapted, Lyris hissed. Used fragments of our technology to evolve their hunters. Naira moved to a central control column, her hands sinking into the living crystal. We can't let them take the sanctuary. Too many species, too many secrets. Her eyes met Marcus's. Too many futures at stake. Then we fight, Marcus said, checking his weapon. But I'll need my systems back online. We offer something better, Thena said, approaching him. A temporary fusion. Your human consciousness linked with our quantum awareness. It will be intense. Marcus remembered the sensation when he'd first entered the sanctuary, that moment of cosmic harmony. Will it hurt? Lyris's laugh was like silver bells. Oh yes, warrior. But it will also show you wonders beyond imagining. The chamber shook again. Through the walls, Marcus could see the modified Hunterbots deploying some kind of energy weapon that ate through the crystal like acid. Your choice, Captain Sterling, Naira said urgently. But choose quickly. Marcus looked at each sister in turn, Naira's commanding presence, Lyris's fluid grace, Thena's quiet intensity. Then he thought of the billions who would die if Project Eclipse was deployed. Do it. The sisters moved in perfect synchronization, forming a triangle around him. Their hands raised, trailing streams of quantum energy that wrapped around Marcus like loving chains. Open your mind, Naira commanded. Open your heart, Lyris whispered. Open your soul, Thena breathed. The energy surged, and Marcus's world exploded into infinite possibility. He felt his consciousness expanding, merging with the quantum field that the Luminari manipulated as easily as breathing. Through their combined awareness, he saw the sanctuary's true nature, not just a hidden base, but a nexus point where multiple realities converged. He saw the Hunterbots as they truly were, quantum probability matrices given form, already starting to degrade as they pushed against the sanctuary's natural harmonics. He saw the data core's contents unlocked, revealing not just Project Eclipse's horrors, but its underlying purpose. They're not trying to kill, he gasped through the overwhelming sensation. They're trying to ascend. Force evolution through genocide. Yes, Naira's voice echoed in his mind. Helix Corporation found fragments of our ascension research. They believe they can force humanity to the next stage of evolution by eliminating all other forms of life. Through their shared consciousness, Marcus felt the sisters' sorrow. Their ancient race had faced similar temptations, similar choices. It had led them to become guardians rather than rulers. The sanctuary's defenses responded to their combined will. Crystals grew and shifted, forming new configurations that pulsed with deadly energy. The first wave of modified Hunterbots breached the inner chamber, their forms twisting as they fought against the sanctuary's natural harmonics. Marcus raised his hands, marveling as quantum energy flowed through him like water. The Luminari sisters moved with him, their powers amplified by his human adaptability, his instincts for survival. Together, they spoke as one, and reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The battle for the sanctuary, and the future of all living things, was about to begin. Part 4, The Battle for New Alexandria. Heading, A Clash of Worlds. The archive chamber trembled as the bombardment intensified above. Oliver felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him, but the bond he shared with the Nephilim sisters gave him clarity. Through their connection, he could sense the chaos unfolding on the surface, Terran and Centurion forces clashing, unaware of the true enemy manipulating them. We need to act now, Oliver said, his voice steady despite the urgency. If we don't stop this, the Void Collective will turn the entire galaxy into a battlefield. Sela nodded, her golden eyes blazing with determination. The bond we share is our greatest weapon. Together, we can reach the minds of those above and show them the truth. Varia stepped forward, her movements fluid and deliberate. But to do that, we must deepen our connection further. Are you prepared, Oliver? This will push you beyond anything you've ever experienced. Oliver didn't hesitate. Do it. Whatever it takes. The sisters surrounded him, their hands glowing with a soft, ethereal light. As they touched him, Oliver felt a surge of energy unlike anything he had ever known. His mind expanded, merging with theirs in a symphony of thoughts, emotions, and memories. The boundaries between them blurred, and for a moment, they were one, a single consciousness united by purpose and passion. Through their shared awareness, Oliver saw the Void Collective for what it truly was, a shadowy network of energy beings feeding on discord and hatred. They had infiltrated the highest levels of Terran and Centurion command, twisting their leaders' minds and fueling the conflict. We need to break their hold, Oliver thought, his voice echoing in the shared space of their minds. Then we must show the fleets the truth, Sela replied. Not just through words, but through emotion. Humans and Centurions alike must feel the unity we share. The sisters began to channel their energy, amplifying the bond they had created with Oliver. The archive's crystals pulsed in rhythm with their combined heartbeat, sending waves of light and sound through the ancient structure. Focus, Oliver, Mara whispered, her voice a soothing presence in his mind. Think of the connections you've made, the love, the trust, the understanding. Let that be the beacon that guides them. Oliver closed his eyes and let the memories flow, his first meeting with the sisters, the moments of vulnerability and strength they had shared, the unbreakable bond they had forged. He felt their love and determination intertwine with his own, creating a force that transcended species and space. Above, in the skies of New Alexandria, the Terran and Centurion fleets were locked in a deadly dance. Ships exploded in bursts of light, and the air was thick with the sounds of battle. But then, something changed. A wave of energy rippled through the battlefield, touching every mind present. Pilots hesitated, their fingers freezing on the triggers. Commanders paused, their strategies unraveling as a new understanding took hold. Images flooded their minds, visions of the Void Collective's manipulation, the lies they had been fed, and the unity that could save them. They saw Oliver and the sisters, their bond a shining example of what was possible when differences were set aside. What is this?" a Terran captain whispered, her voice trembling. "The truth," Oliver's voice echoed in her mind. "The Void Collective has been using us. But together, we can stop them." On the bridge of a Centurion flagship, a commander gripped the edges of his console, his eyes wide with realization. "We've been deceived," he said, his voice filled with anger and regret. "Call off the attack. We must stand together." The fleets began to pull back, their weapons falling silent. The Void Collective, sensing their plan unraveling, lashed out with renewed fury. Dark tendrils of energy surged through the battlefield, targeting the ships and the minds of those within. "They're fighting back," Varia said, her voice strained. "We need to act quickly." Oliver felt the strain of the connection, but he refused to let go. "We can't stop now. We have to finish this." The sisters nodded, their determination matching his own. Together, they channeled their energy into a final, overwhelming burst of light and sound. The wave of harmony swept through the battlefield, shattering the Void Collective's hold and driving them back into the shadows. For a moment, there was silence. Then, as the light faded, the fleets began to move, not as enemies, but as allies. "It's working," Mara said, her voice filled with awe. "They're uniting." Oliver opened his eyes, his body trembling with exhaustion but his spirit unbroken. "We did it. We showed them the way." Sela placed a hand on his shoulder, her golden eyes filled with pride. "This is only the beginning, Oliver. The bond we've created, it's a beacon for the entire galaxy. Others will see it and follow." Varia smiled, her playful demeanor returning. "And to think, it all started with a wounded soldier hiding in the sewers." Oliver laughed, the sound echoing through the archive chamber. I guess I owe you three a thank you. You saved my life, and maybe the galaxy. Mara stepped closer, her voice soft but filled with emotion. And you've given us something we thought we'd lost, hope. Together, we can build a future where all species thrive. The chamber's crystals pulsed with a steady, calming light, reflecting the unity that had been forged. Above, the fleets began to regroup, their ships forming a new formation, one of cooperation and trust. But the battle was far from over. The Void Collective had been driven back, but they were not defeated. Oliver knew that their victory was only the first step in a much larger struggle. What now? He asked, looking at the sisters. Sela's gaze was steady, her voice filled with resolve. Now, we prepare. The galaxy has seen the truth, but the Void Collective will not rest. We must strengthen our bond and reach out to others, show them that unity is our greatest strength.